Hi, hello, and welcome to the Daily Tarot Buffet brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess of Losi. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the transiting moon into Aries. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. It's a delight and an honor to serve you. Thank you for allowing us the privilege to do so. You belong, so welcome home. Vertex of Abundance is the galactic temple of ascension, delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. Again, if anything resonates deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button. Do that right now if you can, please and thank you. During Libra season, when there's a transit to the sign of Aries, we have what's called a seventh house event. So this event is a lunation. We're having a moon transit, the seventh house. It also happens to be a full moon. So it's more particular than the normal 2.5 days. We're actually kind of closing out a cycle. Usually it's about 6 months unless it's tied into the eclipse. Then it can go upwards of a year. So since it's a full moon, it means there will be increased insight and intuition into the areas of the seventh house according to the manifestations of the sign energy, Aries. So drives, desires, passions, motivations from the sense of spirit, karma, life, path, destiny. The going and pushing forward towards. The seventh house is open enemies. It's also partners, partnerships. And it doesn't always mean enemies, but it does mean that if there's opposition. Sometimes oppositions is just calling you out, seeing you clearly because it's the opposite of us. So it's basically the entirety of others. From the standpoint of a direct opposition, what squares up, it's basically like when you stand in a mirror, you see something reflected back to you, or when you look at a person, they're looking at you. It's the opposite of looking from the inside. Basically, it's looking from the outside, but it's not from the outside in. It's basically what comes across our path in the form of an opposition. Others. It's what we come across when we're walking along the path. So it can be oppositions, it can be open enemies, it can also just be partnerships. There are needs that we have that we can't meet our own. For instance, mating. If we look at other biological species, most of them need mating and predation. Predation typically means eating, it can mean other things. I'm gonna leave it right there. Now, what are the needs that we have that we need to meet in harmony? Because shared emotional needs is the eighth house, which often talks about the battle that plays out between enemies or the battle that plays out between oppositions, meaning there are other benefactors, stakeholders in our lives. What goes on when the tempo, the balance shifts? So what keeps the balance is the seventh house. Typically, it's a mutually beneficial nourishing needs exchange. Sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's not. If it's thoroughly emotional, it's the eighth house. But when it's just a mutually beneficial nourishing needs exchange, it's agreed upon, it's talked about, it's settled, it's usually one-on-one or committed, let's say that. It's seventh house. Whether it's a best friend, an intimate advisor that's going to be working with us for a time or for a period of time, marriage partner, business partner. Okay. And then again, as I said, open enemies. Now, if there is something about where we're heading in terms of a destination, the seventh house can talk about that, where we end up or where we go once that kind of geographic point is met, whether it's exiting the world, exiting the life, where we kind of anchor in. Even when we dream, we anchor in, we go into the 12th house, but the little cord is actually anchored into the seventh house. Okay. So it does talk about trajectories. All right. Things that can get in, things that can get out, things that can penetrate, infiltrate even. Okay, we can go deep, but that's me with my little, astro savant brain. So just a little bit of housekeeping. If there's a need to speed up or slow down, it'll be in the player settings or the video settings, not necessarily the site or the app settings, depending on where you're coming in from. You might want to also check the show notes. There's resources there. It's sometimes called the About section or the description box. And I want to say a quick prayer for all those still lost out there to illusion, delusion, confusion, lost in the seas of time, trapped somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to the resplendent grace of the divine, unconditional, loving, universal oneness, unapon Holy Spirit. We love you, we're sorry. Please forgive us. Thank you. We ask that our steps be ordered, our path be illuminated, and that we find salvation and redemption in this life. May we be happy, may we be whole, may we be at peace, may we receive everything we ever wanted, starting with what we deserve. Amen. Okay, so we're gonna go quite a ways here. I'll try to go fast. We're gonna be imposing the guidance from the Thoth Tarot. That's by Aleister Crowley, illustrated by Lady Frida Harris over at US Game Systems. We'll also be using the minor arcana from the Cosmic Coven Tarot to clarify. So we'll be deliberating the findings from this Cosmic Coven Tarot to clarify any pairings or matching energy. And then we'll also be deliberating the findings from the Vita Sibilla Daily Oracle to clarify any correlative or corresponding energy that's over at Los Carabello. Okay, now, this is time magic. Magic is turning an idea into manifestation as well. It can talk about using craft work. It can talk about using cycles. It can talk about using, let me just do a little something with the camera here. Okay, we got a little shine. We got a little shine. I don't know how to get rid of that, and we're just gonna focus. So this could also just be looking back over time, looking back over going back to the past. This is usually corrective, and it also does abate any type of super negative, predation, evil, sinister, wicked kind of energy. Now, it can also talk about a dark hole, a black hole, or some kind of void, like abyssal void, like the vastness of space, antimatter, things of that nature. It's pretty well situated here. We have a Knight of Cups and a Two of Swords clarifying this Devil card. So we'll take a few hits here on the inversion side, because fives of the Devil can talk about a card in reverse. So Two of Swords and the Devil can talk about duplicity, falsifications, and we did get something. But it could just as well talk about a Cancer rising, somebody with their Mars in the fourth house. In Cancer, or in the sign, or a rising sign that's Cancer. We also have somebody with their Mars in Capricorn here, Three of Pentacles with the, so it's not necessarily envy or servility, dullness, lack of skillfulness. So this other energy here is negated. I think maybe in the recent past we might have been dealing with some type of, a raider, somebody that was a bigot, wanting to come in and push their way around, was a little bit of a cowboy. They needed to show off. They flew by the seat of their pants. They didn't necessarily want to be a team player, to communicate, to collaborate, to co-create. But it's if that did happen, it would have been in the past. It's not necessarily something that's present going forward, as evidenced by this timing indicator here, and it's a time cycle indicator, not necessarily a timing indicator. The time means that over the last 3 months, there's been some type of deliberation, investigation, examination, discernment, or that over the next month or so, on the way towards the Taurus full moon, that there will be some co-creation, collaboration, cooperation in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. Because the heart is open, the heart is expanding, or the darkness is dissipating, and there's massive action being taken. It's the same energy, different manifestation according to the vibration that we are frequenting. Now, the clarification that we have here is that something is returning. There's a delivery of sorts, and we have some foresight into this. There's been some delays around it, some disappointments and setbacks. Maybe a lot of delays. Something needs to be put to bed, buried, laid to rest. Maybe the hatchet needs to be buried, something of that nature. There's a completion or a revolution that's being worked on. Something's as bright as day. We might have been dealing with something that was sneaky, shady, sideways, not necessarily seditious or treasonous, but it was secret, it was clothed. It might have been private, secret, discreet, or it would have been some type of operator that had multiple moving parts and that they needed to open up the kimono, share, not just be transparent, open, honest, but vulnerable perhaps. So yeah, there's a month left of this kind of desperation or jealousy. There's an operator trying to figure out how to get things moving or how to keep things stuck. Now, if something is stuck, they want to suppress, repress, oppress, depress any future or further growth. Because there's lots of potentiality that they may try to harvest or siphon or destroy us to destroy because of our potentiality. So let's talk about this a little bit because, for the full moon, it typically means that there's a cycle that's ending. We're actually expelling, purging karma, which means for the last 6 months, we've been dealing with this cycle. For the last upwards of 6 months, we've been dealing with some kind of cycle where it's been less than ideal. It's been quite suboptimal. We've been dealing with some bondage, some dereliction, some despair, some duplicity. Stuck in a dark place in a dark world where something was rigged against us or not working because the game, the rules were backwards, upside down, inverted. We may have been succumbed to darkness. Dark magic is really not necessarily evil, can be sinister, evil, wicked, which is just an abomination of life. Evil spelled backwards is live, just so we know, which means that we were put under frequency, energy, vibration of fear, illusion, falsity, or ignorance. And there was some aspect of ourself that got given by assent, consent, or duress. We were kind of stuck, not just in a hard place, but in a dark place, darkness. Something wasn't moving, it might have been corrupted. And there may have been some type of dark cabal working, or we needed assistance. And we had to wait for this assistance to come. It's going to be some abstract version of that. But that's what's leaving over these next 2 weeks with the moon. That energy is going to lift. And that's the true Ace of Swords. All the different mirage, illusion, glamour, mirror, gas around that is kind of gone. It's shifting, it's leaving, it's dissipating, it's over. We're finally stepping into alignment harvest season. So it can mean that over the next week, we move into harvest season, or over the last 2 weeks, we were setting up a cycle of equally beneficial, nourishing need exchange. Six of Pentacles, something might be finally granted, given. There also may be somebody with their moon in the second house, moon in Taurus. And that some kind of energy is going to dispel, because there's a lot of options that really just aren't going to work. We're also going to discover that a path really wasn't going to work without some kind of spirituality. We needed teaching and we needed traditions, not just probably spiritual teachings. Because not only was something revoked, but it was canceled out. So a spell could have lifted, a curse could have broken. It doesn't always mean abracadabra, hocus pocus, brujeria, santeria. It can mean that we were in some type of ordeal. It was according to our thinking. There was some aspect of us that was co-opted, conditioned, programmed, given to. It could have been a program from early childhood, some kind of language, some kind of narrative got inside of our head. We had to bury the hatchet even within ourselves. This might even be self-forgiveness, or a period of self-interest gets removed. Also, some destiny could have been delayed or canceled, some kind of windfall. Yeah, so remember, I gave the option to speed up because there are sometimes pauses in the cast because downloads are coming. We have a pair of twos here. Let's use the clarification for that. Okay, so it came out face down, meaning from the other side. It's a message, perhaps delayed, or some type of communication or news. Here's the sword. That's the terminal point. Okay, so there's been some conflict here, or karmic lesson. Fives can mean conflict, conundrums, crossing, kerfuffle even. Okay, so there's entitlement here, boundaries. So in order for the promise on our life to take effect, certain energies, entities, ideologies had to be sealed out and away. And it took us a while to realize that if it's not a flow, it's not a go. If we're swimming uphill, we're not a salmon. We don't gotta push it too hard, force it. And we were in some type of karmic lesson where either we needed to stand up in our own will and serenity, or we needed to not lower our energy, get off the throne. Something got made, and I'm saying it that way. Something was made to be bottom of the barrel, common, ordinary, basic. And it's because there was some self-interest on our side, but also that was what was necessary. We needed to revoke, withdraw, rescind, and cancel something out. I think we continued to be open to take scraps or lose in situations just to keep the peace, or there's a windfall here. Once we came into our spiritual healing, we realized that something was hiding inside of our brokenness. It was benefiting off our unhealed, unawakened nature. And the moment we found personal boundaries for ourselves, the moment we rose up, leveled up, handled up, bossed up, G'd up, glammed up, glowed up, it was Niguan Hampa Niguan, where it was not going to continue. And it might have been made to look like us, tis, politicking. What does that mean? Respectability politics, the concern trolling, the compassion baiting, the tone policing, the individuality shaming, the virtue signaling, the whole crafting of a narrative that imposes guilt, shame for deciding to live righteously, to live peacefully. Basically, imposing the need and the feeling that we have to apologize for our drive to survive in harmony with ourselves. Yeah, that's what I'm picking up here. Because, the death card and the wheel of fortune mean a windfall. We have some type of windfall here, and I feel like it's spiritual. And it comes through revoking something through standards and boundaries and canceling something out. The thing we're canceling out is trying to cooperate. We're not actually going to sit here and play the game, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. We're not going to keep giving to situations and circumstances and situationships where it feels like, number one, it's self-interest. Five of Swords in reverse, bearing the hatchet, self-interest, um, and short-sightedness. It's not always a love-hate, envy, venom, wicked, sinister energy. It's just that this is need one half, I need one work. Something can't go forward. Yeah, la anemica, resentment and bitterness. Um, there's this song, all these Heaux, Hoes, all these hoes by Queen Herbie. They're getting in my face, they're getting me down. Talking the loudest, they ain't got nothing to say. All of these fools. Yeah. So they can't copy our style. They can't copy our grace. They can barely copy our energy. They can never copy our anointing. All they want to do is pop up at the mouth, uttering and muttering syllables from that hole in their face, essentially. Ain't got nothing substantive, cogent, salient, germane to the matter at hand. They just got something to say because they can quack a lack. That's just what it is. They can yell and yodel, whine and wail, quabble and quibble, but never going to come up with anything substantive, relevant, precise. Their needs and intentions are never going to be made known because they have no objective, no clearly defined mission, no well-defined statement of intention. All they want to do is harp and harangue because that's all they got. You're never going to find a hater doing better than you. Talking the loudest, but ain't got nothing to say. The louder somebody whines and wails, the emptier their brain is. Because somebody can just be like, listen, I'm unpleased. This is my intention. This is my objective. This is what I'm hoping. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm needing. This is why I'm disappointed. There's a disproportionate reality to what the intention was and what the expectation was and what the outcome was. If we can reconcile it, great. If we can't, great. I'm just going to move on and meet my needs myself. Okay, that's a real one. All this other stuff, all that other sting, there's some healing there that's needed. And they may have a reason. They may hit the unlike button, they may hit the thumbs down, they may do the little, I don't even know what it's called anymore, silent treatment, whatever little toxic modalities that they have, pulling from all these places and spaces they think they're going to fill that empty hole in their heart with. The Five of Swords means that somebody's heart is shut off, shut down. That's not a logic or rationale or a rhyme or a reason that's going to work. Because what they can understand is pain. And see, their heart's probably been destroyed. That's a heart right there. This is not gonna get any nicer. What I have to say. Yeah, all the perfume could never cover your stank. One of these days. Yeah, listen to that song, All These Hoes by Queen Herbie. One of these days, all these hoes. Yeah, all these hoes are getting me down. Yeah, see, look at us. Prima, bellissima, Queen of Hearts, Queen of, yeah, beauty, la matrice. Beauty, refinement, grace, pure heart, pure soul, clean spirit. And they come back in with the la superbia, peacocking. Remember I said that utterances and mutterances from that hole in their face? Quabbling and quibbling, yelling and yolling, whining and wailing. Okay, I'm not trying to harp and harangue on anybody because, do you boo, move how you move. Just don't get upset when I decide to move out of your way. That's the thing. So they're looking and pulling from places where they can grasp, trying to keep. That's the thing. Aries is we're gonna move and think for ourselves. We're not gonna be conditioned and programmed and virtue signaled and bullied and belittled and berated into being something that we're not or into doing something that harms us just to keep the peace. It's not our job to make ourselves more palatable, other people more comfortable, even if that's what they're gonna shove down our throat for dear life. What they're gonna get is canceled. What they're gonna get is revoked. What they're going to get is what they're going to get because they did what they did. They don't got to like it. They don't got to agree with it. We don't got to care. This channel is a little bit intense. I'm going to move on because I'm going to say something I can't unsay. All the perfume can never cover your stink. Woo! Okay, so I had to let that out. Um, when we have okay, so first of all, like I wanted to say, something may be going on over the next 2 months where we're going to get on new paths, which is most likely. But it may also be that over the last couple of days, it's already started where we're going to have multiple options to, participate and remain present, to navigate, to negotiate with a lot of places and spaces. And we're just going to be like, no, 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 heck no. Doesn't work for me, baby. I'm out. Peace. Deuces. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna opt out of a lot. Yeah, sayonara. Yeah, so we're gonna be ruthless in our boundaries and standards because there was self-interest and now we're doing lone wolf because there's been so much seven of swords because there's been so much suspended. We're dealing with all these hidden and open enemies, and we're coming into all this truth about the true nature of people's hearts. It's a lot of data we're going to be considering over what can be up to 2 months. So this could be going on until the Gemini full moon. And we see people's dual nature, and it's not just because of Gemini, it's because there's a duality that comes, but it's coming out because Gemini full moon will be during the Sagittarius season. So we'll be examining and illuminating and enlightening and enumerating and reinvigorating and healing all of this conditioning and programming that was systemized into us during the formative years, the developmental years. So we're going to be looking at our beliefs and asking ourselves why. We're going to be thinking about all the things we were ever told and all the things we just accepted as were, and shifting and changing and growing and evolving. None of the little barriers, none of the little guardrails, none of the little gatekeeping and policing is going to be working over this next few months. It's all unraveling. And see, what's really going to work with us is people that have accountability with themselves. People that show up and play an active participatory role in their own lives. They don't kick the can down the road and make other people responsible for their feelings. They say, this is what I did, I'm sorry. This is what happened, I'm sorry. I didn't know better, but I do now. I want to do better. If you'll allow me, if we can walk together, that's great. If we got to walk apart, that's unfortunate, but that's okay too. I respect you. Please forgive me. I'm moving on. I'm moving forward. I hope you can too. Instead of all this little, I did this because I want, or, I woke up an asshole today because, my dad was a douchebag and I inherited from my father. Whatever. You hear what I'm saying? Like all the I'm healed, I'm unawakened. Woe is me. Listen to my excuse, perpetuate my toxicity. You hear what I'm saying? Um, uh, peace be upon you, blessing to your healing and awakening. I really do mean the opening prayer to all those still lost out there to illusion, delusion, confusion, lost in the seas of time, trapped somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to resplendent grace, the divine unconditional love and universal oneness. Upon, we love you, we're sorry, please forgive us, thank you. We ask that our steps be ordered, our path be illuminated, and that we find salvation and redemption in this life. May we be happy, may we be whole, may we be at peace, may we receive everything we ever wanted, starting with what we deserve. Okay? So I truly, genuinely, sincerely mean that. And a lot of people are going to get suspended. Things are not going to carry forward as they did at one time or another. And you know what? We're not going to get the glory if we still participate. In order to get that spiritual healing temperance card, we're going to need to accept some cold, harsh truths. And it's going to be reeky-deeky, sneaky-tweaky. So if there's not Seven of Swords. So if there's not, some people may be sideways, seditious, and sneaky. Some people may be trifling, treacherous, and treasonous. We've got to use cunning, tact, and strategy. We've got to go towards the truth because the receipts will be there in broad daylight. We just got to look for them. So what it is what it is, and what it be is what it's going to be. We can call it whatever we want to. Doesn't mean that's true. We've been getting all this time, energy, effort, and attention to allow people to show themselves. And we have a double seven here too. So that's an alert, 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 alert. Seven of Swords mean we're being openly manipulated. Seven of Pentacles means there's a strategy, there's an agenda, there's a tactic, there's a modus operandi. We are dealing with some kind of energy that is prideful and egotistical. They take personal injuries or social injuries as personal affronts, and they feel the need to avenge. Six of Wands in reverse. They haven't been tested in the fire. They haven't gone through the trial and tribulation. And so it's a counterfeit. They need to falsify the facts to fit their feeling and massage the truth to fit their narrative. And they're going to work on being oppositional, a dichotomy, one that doesn't reconcile. It's not the good and the bad. It's I'm good, you're bad. That's the narrative. It's not this and that. It's this or that. Take it or leave it. But the leave it and the silent treatment, it's just some kind of toxic personality style and a tactic. And it's not that we're going to try to work it out and try to fix it and try to heal and let it die and yada yada. No, you are how you are. You do what you do. That's okay, boo. Excuse me, please. Peace be upon you. Have a nice day and a blessed life. Blessings to you, healing. I wish you the very best. I hope you get everything that you need. I just can't be that. I can't help you meet your needs. So there's going to be hiding in plain sight. Because the thing is we're about to come into our glory. We're about to have the come up of the life. But we have shapeshifters. When the moon and the second time today, when the moon and I just did this in the Oracle reading. It was episode number 389. I'm sorry. The Oracle report, I stopped putting the episode numbers in the title because there's 13 shows that get published on the network right now. There's all different episode numbers, but you can look in show notes or the about section or description box, or you can go over to one of the podcasts, and there they'll have the episode number. But it's the podcast is called the Oracle Report. We just had the Temperance and the Moon card come out together, which means shapeshifter. So this is the falsita. The facade, falseness, is a racket. Something right there in plain sight. With La Nimica and Il Nimico, it's not good. That's a pure toxicity, the covert kind. So Dargo, disrupt or deny, reverse victim offender. It's not even I know you are, but what am I? It's this horrible thing that didn't happen, that just happened. You did it, not me. It's competition, resentment. When there's greatness on the table, all they can do is shady things. I don't have language for that. I don't. We've walked into some corner of the uh, where did we end up with this? Let's move on. Over the next 3 fortnights or so, on the way towards the Sagittarius new moon, people will be being exposed. Then at the Gemini full moon, we're going to get out of the shapeshifter energy of people trying to cloak themselves in our name and our clout, borrowing our goodwill, doing whatever, what have you. The energy is going to be purged because there's no way we're not going to be able to see it. Our talent, our beauty, our refinement, it's too skillful. It may even be for some of us when Mercury transits our 11th house or the sign of Aquarius, it'll be we've moved on to the next cycle. Now we're feeling clear, like we have clearance to move on, to move forward, because now there's foresight and we see things as they are. With this Belvedere, that there's something there for us. Now this person might come in, these people might be coming in. So we're getting rid of this is what this moon transit is going to do. It's going to put us on the path to purge all the counterfeits. And it's not everybody's counterfeit. I'm so sorry. This reading is just intense. This is an unpopular position to take. I'm called to take it. It's my duty. On this transiting Aries moon and the full moon, which the video is separate, we're going to get put on the path to purging toxic out of our life. And I said toxic, not toxicity. It's the word toxic. We're going to be recognizing it. We're going to be calling it what it is. We're also going to get the means, mechanisms, methodologies, system structures, foundations, tools, techniques, technologies to purge. And it may take us 6 months to start doing the action of getting the energy out of our life, but we're not going to have ignorance of it, a lack of awareness of it. We're going to see it for what it is. It's going to start to show itself. It's going to start to be exposed. And honestly, as we glow up, we're going to start to see the energy around us really shaking its boots, throw tantrums, cast aspersions, get nasty, make nasty. Why? Because we're killing who they used to be, which was an unhealed, unawakened individual energy, entity, ideology that was a host for demons, that gave shadows enough for the darkness to hide in, for their true nature and authentic self to hide, to cloak in our energy, in our life, in our environment, surrounding locations. Okay, that's what this is. That's what's happening. Because I'm hearing that "You're a Beautiful" song by Christina Aguilera. Words can get you down, they can get you down. Their little tactics, their little tricks, their little la-di-da and yada-yada cannot keep us down. We're containing a situation because testimony and witness, we're finally seeing things for what it is. And it's been happening over the last 3 weeks. We've been moving into some type of containment, contain the situation. So we've been concussed, and there's some resuscitation coming because there's been a trauma, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, don't matter, don't care. There's been a trauma and a drama. Yeah, I'm alive. I said concussed, resuscitation, sickness, malady. Yeah, because we're dealing with this fake, phony love, fake, phony union. It's not even a consolations prize. It's a false or small offering. They can't do no nothing. They can't be no nothing. That's unfortunate. Yeah, and then again, we're getting witness and testimony. Sun in the means recognized for what we are, how we are, what we're about. Having our talents, our abilities, or our authentic self be recognized. I'm hearing that song, Christina Aguilera, "You're Beautiful" no matter what they say. Words can bring you down. So there's some boundaries and standards. There's also some entitlement here on if we're dealing with another person. There's some goddess vector and things are speeding up, getting progressive, swift even. And ultimately what that brings us is boundaries, strength, barriers, but we've got a little fight left, but a lot of strength left. Yeah. And honestly, whatever we're doing, I keep getting that, not just that we're being politicked and virtue signaled, but we're also being gate capped and policed. Tone policing, gate capped, should it all over. That's that whole concern trolling and compassion baiting. Yeah, so we just have it from on high. There's nothing that can shake our intuition here. It's really doesn't matter how heavy the gaslighting is. It's not. What is this reading? It's toxicity town, man. Why don't we just put a little pin on the map and call it Toxica? Toxicale. I don't know. What is this? Okay, there will be lots of breakups. Five of Cups and the Two of Cups. Purging, disappointment, accepting defeat. Because our life itself is sick. There's a toxicity that needs to be, it's called toxemia. When it's like it's not quite sepsis because sepsis is in the blood, but it's that's kind of what this is, like a spiritual sepsis. Yeah, see, la animica. There's hateful, spiteful energy around. They don't want to see us happy, whole. This little block, this little energy that knows more about us than we do, um, they only like it when they have the upper hand, the advantage, and the moment we're no longer unhealed, unawakened, that's what they were benefiting from. It was working when we were broken. They were benefiting from our brokenness, and I don't really feel that we were broken. But some aspect of us was not entitled or holding a boundary or something of that nature. when it was there and evident and clear as day to everyone but us, or at least to this other energy just mirroring us. And now that we got our ducks in a row, mercante, everything's lined up, we ready, ready. Yep, we've got to go through a morte, a death, a transition. It's inevitable. Lo ve que, señores, the situation has ripened as much as it can. If it ripens anymore, it'll be closer to decay than life. It's gone as far as it could go. It's mature to progress as far as it's going to progress. What it is what it is. This is something that needs to be let go of. Ten of Wands. It's a cycle we can't carry, especially for somebody else. Conversazione. We need to listen to the ancestors. Because it's that voice in our head that's been whispering for a while. Yeah, I'm hearing Woman's Work by Kate Bush. It was a long time in coming. Knight of Pentacles. And we were gate kept for a long time. But this, wherever this progression and advancement into our personal self, whatever this erosion of our boundaries is, it's not gonna, it's been blocked by the divine itself. Now, for some of us, it's going to be delayed departures, a delayed victory, but there's supreme judgment coming. I keep trying to give it like a universal read that it's not just a toxic energy in our life. It doesn't have to be a lover, it can be a friend, it can be a boss, it can be a roommate, it can be a coworker, whatever, what have you. It's toxica. Toxicity in the city. Now I'm hearing Sister Beba down. So even though I wanted to say other things, that whenever the hangman and the judgment card come out, it means it's the supreme power of the universe. And it's saying like every single step, listen, over this last week, something snapped. We are fully McFully in a karmic lesson. And we've been dealing with an outlaw. Rhyme, reason, rationale, linear thinking, logic, it's not gonna, doesn't matter, don't care. What's right and wrong doesn't matter, don't care. Ethics and morals doesn't matter, don't care. Somebody feels some kind of way, they have a moral injury because it's an ego injury, and so it's a social energy and a personal injury, and they're gonna be vindictive about it. It's like a parasite that's difficult to cleanse. The word for that is called vermifuge, which means extermination of parasites. They desire a fight, a competition, a contestation. The knights mean desires. The five of wands is crossings, conundrums, competition, contestation. When you have the five of wands and the justice card, it's either criminal or demonic. It's criminal because the emperor card is about to come out, and the emperor plus the justice card means criminal. If it was the justice and the devil, it would mean demonic. So that's what the five of wands means. It means bottom of the barrel, basic, ordinary, common. So it's interesting that an individual we're connected to would fight more to be toxic and to keep the status quo than they would fight to harmonize and to evolve and to grow and to refine themselves. They're going to hold on to dear life to make something what it was when it's either evolve or die. You either get better or you get worse, because by definition, the world is getting better. And if you stay the same, you're getting left behind. We either grow together or we grow apart. As long as it's not by accident, both are fine. What does by accident mean? Lacking an intention. So we're just supposed to go along like an automaton and not have thoughts and not have feelings and not have needs and not have desires and not have boundaries and not have standards, not have wishes for our lives? Our soul's going to call us and compel us forward. Our spirit is going to want to dance inside of our body. Like, are they going to sit there and pretend like we don't have a sacred mission and a divine calling on our life? Is that what I'm to understand? That can't be true. Like, that's not what the divine wants for us. We have a promise on our life, 10 of Cups, Page of Cups. We want to feel fulfilled. Page, feelings, 10 of Cups, fulfillment. A child, Page of the eternal kingdom, heaven on earth, 10 of Cups. So I'm confused. This is confusing. Yeah. So they're going to get stripped of this enshrinement they've done in our life. It doesn't always have to be in our home, but they've taken a stronghold in our life. Whatever this energy, entity, ideology is, eviction, they're going to be stripped, bound down, abandoned, and left behind. Excuse my language, but when you have the Emperor and the Tower, it means a tyrant, somebody who's waging war, somebody who's unleashing their anger. We're going to have a battle, some kind of, at least a cutthroat argument, because we're detaching. Let's come. Let's clarify the Emperor with, yeah, Desperata per Gelosia. You see this in this card. This person has a. They might be trying to delete or cancel themselves out. Oh, brother, Il Nemico. Okay, so that's performative, even if it isn't. You do you, but listen, La Superbia, that's the peacock. It's the performance. Okay, I know what this is saying. Even when we say it's time to go, it's time to move on, it's time to go our separate ways, it's going to be dramatic. We might have to call that the wambulance on them. And I'm not talking about tears. I don't want to say it as, this is a safe space. It's a therapeutic space, not a clinical space. So let's pull this card. Because what is this? What is this? I'm talking about self-harm. Let's leave that right there. So, message from the other side: expectations. Don't seek anyone's approval. See, that was the thing that's what I'm talking about. That tone police and concern trolling, that respectability politics. They want us to be a puppet. Yeah. So once we take control over our own narrative and we're no longer seeking their approval, we're making time for healing, not war. And we got to unplug. That's why we're trying to detach. This is the Tower. In this deck, it's called the Tower. Unplug and relax for a spell. We're going to be our own hero. We don't care what they can provide, whether it's some of that good, or their presence, or their companionship, or their leadership, or their direction, or their whatever. No, thank you. Because we're starting to find a light in the darkness. She's sitting in a dark forest, and look, she found the light. Girl, get it. So, what cycle is this? That's what I want to know. Structure, resources. Yeah, so we're finding our own inner resources. And the structure that we're going is just with the divine. But I do based on myself. I want to know why we have this 10 of Pentacles with the 5 of Pentacles. Because it's like whatever they've moved into, like whatever they got, there something, yeah. This is the person that needs supply. This is the person that needs supply. And we were carrying them. Maritata, the nurturer. So this is what's happening to their life. It's imploding. Okay, so this was completely about another person, and it's hard for me to do that, but it is the seventh house. It's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing us to do so. If anything resonated deeply with us, with you, go ahead and smash that like button. Listen, if this resonates deeply with you, go ahead and comment. Like, let me know what's going on in the show notes. I'm curious what the situation is. What's going on? Okay, take good care. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.